my experience getting into tech was very similar. And I find that if you find devs, engineers, and you are just curious, they will bend over backwards to explain complex concepts because no one asks them. And so the slightest bit of enthusiasm and curiosity, especially when you're sincere in those things, will produce amazing results because they love to explain, they love to teach, and they'll teach anybody that will listen, but people just don't ask them. It's one of those things where I've seen that happen over and over in tech. And a comment I've gotten recently, it was a while back and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, was, oh, she always talks about jobs that would be good for women, specifically talking about different tech jobs and stuff like that. But the thing is, that sort of mentality is keeping women from going into jobs where all they have to do is go into them, be curious, sincere, and enthusiastic, and people will bend over backwards to teach them, to explain things and open doors for you because you're enthusiastic, curious, and excited to be there. I don't know if you've seen that as well, but I'm sure that's probably been your experience too, which is that you just show curiosity, you just show that you want to be there, and people will bend over backwards to help you.
100%. I mean, it is still predominantly, especially on the engineering side. On the sales side, we have pretty much a 50-50 ratio at this point, at least at most companies. On the engineering side, it's still very male dominant. It means one of two things. One, women aren't trying to get into these roles because either it doesn't work for their natural curiosity, which is totally fine, or they're intimidated. And if you're intimidated, I got to tell you, I work with these guys and we sit around and they teach me so much and they don't care. They are willing to teach you any of these things. And I'm so thankful for that. And I wish that there was just kind of that stigma. Now, you're always going to find the tech bros. They're always out there, but you're going to find a lot of the tech chicks too. They're out there too. One of the worst corporate bullies I had was a woman, which is staggering. But I've also had phenomenal female mentors and phenomenal male mentors. Both are willing to pull in and pour into you the knowledge base that they have because they're genuinely to help. It's no longer as much of a gendered idea as it once was. But the point is willing to risk. Like I told my daughter, we can get you these certifications. This is kind of a good career path if you wanted to go this way because number one, it's always growing. There's always new advents of things that we're learning. So it's a great place to go just if you're a curious mind. And she would be a phenomenal leader of engineers because her mind works that way. And I'm like, you really need to look into this because the quicker you get in as an engineer, the quicker you can get to leadership. And that's where you shine. We've been just kind of talking about what are the paths, what are the routes. And she's like, well, I do want to get a degree. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. If you want to get a degree, let's see if we can get you into a job that's willing to pay for it. Because there's so many jobs that are willing to pay for it. But you are going to have to probably pay for some certifications out of pocket. Certifications are going to get you further in most tech companies than a degree is. Sometimes the degree is what opens the door, but a lot of the times we know people at these companies. You just open up a LinkedIn and start connecting with your people. It will almost feed you all the connections to all the places that will help build your profile. It's very intuitive that way. So don't be intimidated to open up a LinkedIn and be like, oh, well, I've only been a stay-at-home mom for so many years. Open it up. You've run a home. You've been the CFO, the CIO, the CEO, and you've managed a team of tiny humans. You're in corporate. You're stewarding your own humans. It's the same concepts overlay.